In light of this week's election, I want to make some brief comments. You know, among the things that I'm most proud of during my term as state superintendent is the light that we have been able to shine on accountability in education. It is time to start speaking truth to power. When I took office, only 26% of fourth graders were reading at a proficient level in Oklahoma. Only 26%. More than 40% of college freshmen needed to take remedial coursework because they had graduated from high school without the necessary preparation. Such has been the status quo for years in our state. Education reforms in recent years, the A through F school report card, the teacher and leader effectiveness evaluation system, our Achieving Classroom Excellence graduation requirements, the third grade reading law, shine a bright light on places doing a terrific job of educating children, but it also reveals those that are not, that are failing our children. Only when we know and can see clearly successes and failures can we really expect positive change. As I leave my office in 6 months, it will be your job, board members, to make sure we continue to illuminate the successes and the failures of our schools. It remains critically important that parents and communities clearly understand how their local schools are performing in terms of academic achievement. Ask questions, probe, do not be turned away. Persistence will reveal the truth. It remains critically important that citizens have the information needed to gauge the effectiveness of local teachers, of their principals, and their superintendents. Having an effective teacher in a classroom and an effective leader in a building enables student success. It remains critically important that children are able to read by the time they reach third grade. This is a fundamental right for our children. It will be up to you to make sure our schools are helping students achieve these fundamental goals. I want to thank you all so much for your service as members of the State Board of Education. I know it is sometimes a challenging and often thankless job. All of you, every single one of you, have been a strong advocate for children. Your work is significant. It has been an honor to serve with you, and I'm happy to continue to serve with you for the next 6 months. There is much more work yet to be done. Now let me talk about the budget. Now that our state budget has officially been signed, I want to thank Governor Fallin for providing, and the legislature for providing an $80 million in additional funding for K-12 public education this year. Later in this meeting, Chief of Staff Joel Robinson will outline the particulars of the funding. Social Studies cut scores. The Commission for Educational Quality and Accountability met last week on some of the details surrounding the 5th grade Social Studies test and our U.S. History test in 8th grade and high school. That commission unanimously approved the performance level descriptors and set the performance cut scores for these tests in line with the recommendations of the standard setting committees. They also unanimously approved a plan to phase in the cut scores over 3 years from 2013 through 2016. We anticipate having finalized scores from these assessments at next month's board meeting. Our standards. Also, later this meeting, Terry Burkeen, our State Department of Education's Executive Director of Literacy, will explain what the process will be for the development of the new academic standards. As you know, House Bill 3399 mandates that the State Department of Education coordinate creation of standards by 2016. By design, the process we are launching is focused on being as comprehensive and inclusive as possible, We truly believe we can rebuild education in this state if this is done appropriately and with the right motives of the children first and foremost in our hearts. These standards must be written by Oklahomans for our Oklahoma children, and they will reflect our state's values and our commitment to excellence. The standards will be created through a statewide conversation guided by committees and teams that are tasked with writing standards for English language arts and mathematics. We are excited about what we believe is a dynamic and an inclusive process and plan, and are certain it will spark a healthy exchange of ideas.